of them might end. We'll have to go. All right.
Okay.
All right, folks, can you hear me in Osceola County?
Yes, Judge.
All right, let's get started. We could have Andrew Abshire. Sir, if you could please state your name.
Andrew Abshire.
All right, Mr. Abshire, there are two charges for you, battery, touch or strike, and domestic battery by strangulation. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. I do find probable cause on the face of the affidavit. I will set bond on the misdemeanor charge at $500 and on the felony charge at $2,500. Additional conditions of no contact with the victim, no weapons or firearms. Best of luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
By the way, on Osceola, I have no indication of qualification for PTR on any of them. I don't think. Yeah, they don't have their sheets attached. The sheets that say whether or not they qualify. This one does. PTR.
Your Honor?
All right. Yes.
Ma'am? Will you be taking any action on his probation case?
On Mr. Abshire?
Yes, ma'am.
Hold on just a second. That's on a DUI?
Yes, ma'am.
No, I'm gonna let the judge deal with it. As to Kieta Alexander,
She's approaching, Judge.
state your name, please, ma'am.
Kieta Alexander.
Sorry, I can't hear.
Kieta Alexander.
All right, Miss Alexander, you were picked up on a warrant out of Lake County. That warrant does have a $2,000 bond on it. And I will appoint the public defender in the interim. Best of luck to you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Gary Henderson,
Yes, ma'am.
state your name, please, sir.
Gary Henderson.
All right, Mr. Henderson, you have a charge of interference with custody of a child. I do find probable cause on the affidavit. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. The bond was set at $2,500. It will remain as set with additional conditions of no contact with the victim or the victim's child. Best of luck to you, sir. Jamon
you.
Hodge. State your name, sir.
Jamar Hodge.
Mr. Hodge, we have one charge of robbery with a firearm, one charge of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, one charge of grand theft greater than 300, less than 5,000, and one misdemeanor charge of battery, touch, or strike. I do find probable cause on the face of the affidavit. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. As to the robbery with a firearm charge, the bond will be set at $2,500. As to the aggravated assault charge, the bond will be set at $2,500. The bonds of $1,000 on the grand theft and $500 on the battery, touch, or strike will remain as set. Additional conditions: no contact with the victim, no return to the scene, no weapons or firearms. Best of luck to you, sir.
Your Honor, if I may, briefly, Carlson Hamilton on behalf of the state. The robbery with a firearm charge is a PBL. The state will be requesting no bond.
Let me have counsel, well, I can't have counsel approach, can I? Here's my concern, State.
Yes, Your Honor.
On the robbery with a firearm charge, there's no indication on the face of the affidavit that the firearm was actually seen by anyone. It was a threat that the firearm was there and a description of a movement toward a waistband, but I don't actually see the firearm.
I understand, Your Honor.
So I'm gonna set the bond at 2,500 on that.
Thank you.
Mario Justice. Tell me your name, please, sir.
Mario Justice.
Mr. Justice, you were picked up on a warrant out of Orange County. It is appeared to be a child support, does not have a bond on it, but it does have a purge of $2,000. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Best of luck to you, sir. Josue Martinez.
Your Honor, he requires a Spanish interpreter.
You have the interpreter on the line?
Yes, Your Honor, the interpreter is connected.
All right. Can you state your name, please, sir?
¿Cómo se llama
Josué
usted?
Martínez Morales.
Josué Martínez
Josué
Morales.
Martínez Morales.
Mr. Martinez Morales, you have been picked up on a warrant out of Marion County.
Señor Martínez, usted fue arrestado
yes,
por
ma'am.
un... Escuche, usted fue arrestado por una orden de arresto del condado de Marion.
The bond has, or the warrant has no bond on it. Therefore, you will be held until Marion County picks you up.
Y no se le ha asignado ninguna fianza, por lo tanto, usted seguirá detenido hasta que el condado de Marion lo venga a buscar.
Best of luck to you, sir.
Buena suerte.
Ryan Moe.
He's in the back, Your Honor. He's approaching.
All right. Sir, can you state your
Ryan
name,
Moe.
please?
Ryan Moe.
Mr. Moe, you were picked up on a charge of misdemeanor battery and criminal mischief. I do find probable cause on the affidavit. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. You do qualify for pretrial release, and I will authorize the pretrial release with conditions of no contact with the victim, no return to the scene, no weapons or firearms. Best of luck to you, sir.
Do you have a bond, sir? Ma'am?
Pretrial release.
I request a
Pretrial release. Calvin O'Neill?
He's also in the back, Judge. Just a moment.
All right. Counsel, while we're waiting for him to come forward, the court reporters asked for you to place your name on the record and for the state to place their name on the record.
Megan Albrecht with the Office of the Public Defender.
Carlton Hamilton with the state.
Thank you. Sir, can you state your name, please?
Calvin O'Neill.
All right, Mr. O'Neill, you were picked up on a warrant for violation of probation. And that warrant is an Osceola County warrant. I will appoint the public defender to represent you on the violation of probation. There's no bond on the BOP. He has a bond. And your bond is $1,000 on that VOP, and it will remain as set. Best of luck to you, sir. Giovanni Rodriguez. State your name, please, sir.
Giovanni Rodriguez Colon.
Mr. Rodriguez, you have a charge of misdemeanor battery. I do find probable cause. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. You do qualify for pretrial release, and I will authorize pretrial release. Best of luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
Amanda Watterson.
Excuse me, Your Honor. In that case, the state would be requesting at least no hostile contact.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did say that. I didn't have that on my note. No contact with the victim for
Thank you, Judge.
Amanda Watterson. State your name, please, ma'am.
Amanda Watterson.
Ms. Watterson, you have a misdemeanor charge of battery, touch, or strike, a misdemeanor charge of possession of marijuana under 20 grams, a misdemeanor charge of possession of drug paraphernalia. I do find probable cause on the face of the affidavit. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. You do qualify for pretrial release. I will authorize that with the condition of no contact with the victim. Best of luck to you, ma'am. Gabriella Zeter. State your name, please, ma'am.
Gabriella Zeter.
Ms. Zeter, you were picked up on a warrant for violation of probation, or violation of community control. That is in 16 CF 1278. There is no bond on that warrant. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Best of luck to you, ma'am. Randolph Alexander. State your name, please, sir.
Randolph Alexander.
Mr. Alexander, you are charged with driving while license suspended with knowledge. I do find probable cause. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. You do qualify for pretrial release with bond. The bond is $500. I will stay the bond with the additional condition of no drugs or alcohol. Best of luck to you, sir. Louis Cassiano.
And I believe he's refused. I'm sorry, he is here.
Okay. State your name, please, sir.
Luis Casiano.
Mr. Cassiano, we have one felony charge of home invasion without a weapon, one felony charge of grand theft from a dwelling, one misdemeanor charge of assault, a misdemeanor charge of resisting arrest without violence, and a misdemeanor charge of threat with death or bodily harm to a law enforcement officer. I don't have any paperwork for the appointment of counsel. Are you able to afford an attorney, or do you need for me to appoint the public defender to represent you?
I need an appointed attorney.
I'm sorry?
I need an appointed attorney.
I will appoint the public defender to
Your Honor,
represent.
He did complete an affidavit of insolvency, I'm not sure.
I didn't get it, but I will appoint the public defender to represent him. I do find probable cause on the face of the affidavit. The bonds for the home invasion are $10,000, grand theft $1,000, the assault $250, the resisting without violence $500, and the threat of death or bodily harm $250. Those were the bonds that were set on the original affidavit, and they will be stayed. Additional condition of no contact with the victim, no weapons or firearms. Best of luck to you, sir.
Like,
Jermaine Hamilton. Can you state your name, please, sir?
Jermaine D. Hamilton.
All right, Mr. Hamilton, you were picked up on 2 warrants out of Hillsborough County. They have bonds on them. One of the warrants has a bond of $15,000. The other warrant has a bond of $7,500. You also have new charges out of Osceola County. And those charges are for possession of cocaine, which has a $5,000 bond on it, and introduction of a controlled substance into a detention facility that has a bond on it of $5,000 as well. Those bonds will be stayed. And you did qualify for PTR, so it will be PTR plus those bonds. The public defender is appointed for you, and there is probable cause on the face of the affidavit as to those second charges. Best of luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
David Loshaw?
Excuse me, Your Honor, would those PTR conditions on that case be no drugs or alcohol?
As to,
The possession of cocaine and smuggling?
yeah, okay, so no drugs or alcohol.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. David Loshaw,
Judge, Mr. Loshaw is in the hospital.
okay? All right, hold on just a second. This is the one I don't understand. This is on Macario Rincon. Okay. Call Macario Rincon. I have some notes here, folks, that I don't understand with regard to Mr. Rincon. Can somebody tell me what the issue is? I don't know whose notes these are. They're from Jennifer Dunkirk, who's she? Okay, someone in Osceola needs to let me know why Mr. Rincon has been called back. Somebody from pretrial there?
Yes, Judge.
1 second, Your Honor.
I guess he has out on bond cases that were not addressed yesterday. They weren't addressed on Friday, but it sounds like Judge Schreiber had him. I'm ahead. Put him to the list.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Pat Hill with PTR. It appears that he was served the violation of probation on 2 cases, and then he came to IA's, and the judge revoked his 2 cases. But now he's held on both. So since they already served the violation of probation warrants, we would be asking to remove the 2 cases that were revoked on the order.
That's from Judge Schreiber on Friday?
I wasn't here, I'm just going by a note that I was given.
All right, that's fine. Go ahead and do that.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Y'all have a good day. Best of luck to you, Mr. Rincon. We already handled his current charges, right? Wait, now we've handled his current charges. Judge Schreiber handled those, right? It looks like. Okay. So there's nothing else that needs to be done with regard to Mr. Rincon, correct?
Correct, Judge.
Okay. All right. Removing those 2. All right. I don't even know what this is. That's in there. Yeah, let me call these other two and get those out. You understand what that is. All right, Jose Roldos. Tell me your name, please, sir.
Jose Roldos.
All right, Mr. Roldos, you have a charge of providing false name or ID by an arrestee. It's a misdemeanor charge of resisting arrest without violence. You have a misdemeanor charge of knowingly driving with a suspended license, and a misdemeanor charge of displaying another's driver's license. I find probable cause on the two affidavits. On the two affidavits, I will appoint the public defender to represent you. As to the knowingly driving with suspended license, I will set the bond on that at $500. As to the other three charges, the bond will be $100 each. Best of luck to you, sir. There's a false name or ID by an arrestee, resisting arrest without violence, and a displaying another's driver's license. Each one of those is 100. Trade. You had a VOP? I didn't see it in here. I don't have a VOP. I don't have a VOP in here. Is that him too? Okay, I'm sorry. That goes with this thing. What is it we're doing with this? Oh. I don't know. I'm not understanding what the question is on there. It says no action was taken on it. I'm not sure why it's confusing. And I'm not taking any action on driving with a suspended license on a 2012 probation. All right, Tracy Williams.
Williams refused, Your Honor.
William Wilson.
Also refused, Your Honor.
I think that's everyone then. All right, thank you, Osceola County. I'll let you go. All right. We're gonna do the move-ups first and the interpreters. Then we'll do, then I'll do as many as I can do before we all start melting. I still have some more I have to review in the back, so we'll give us a break while I go through those.
I just want to hear so I can know to not get, so I can make sure I have them up. I mean, you know. Stop at the family. Stop yank. Yank, yank.
And I need basically, I need less than an hour to do the rest of them. There's not that many left.
Tell me the name again.
You might have bond, you might have bond.
Okay, yeah.
Stop at, West.
West. Okay. All right, that's the last one. All right.
Pretty sure I can do the rest of that stack in 45 minutes.
appreciate it. It's the only thing that's put together or cool.
While we're waiting for them, folks, if you could put your names on the record for the Orange County IAs.
Marie Taylor for the Office of the Public Defender.
Carlton Hamilton on behalf of the state.
Kyle over there. Counsel, you ready?
Yes, Your Honor.
Leave the interpreter on the line.
The interpreter's connected, Your Honor.
All right. Sir, can you tell me your name, please?
Juan Bocham.
Juan Bochan.
Mr. Beauchamp, we have one charge for you of attempted burglary of a conveyance. I do find probable cause on the face of the affidavit. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. I will leave the bond as set at $1,000 with the additional condition of no return to the scene. Best of luck to you, sir.
Your Honor, the interpreter would request if there are any case numbers assigned to cases, if the interpreter can get those, please.
19 CF 8298.
All right, in 19 CF 8276 and 19 CT 4313. Can you state your name, please, sir?
Jose Galarza.
Jose Galarza.
Mr. Galarza, we have a charge of possession of cocaine with intent to sell or deliver, a charge of possession of cocaine, a charge of possession of drug paraphernalia, and a charge of no valid driver's license. They do find probable cause on the face of the two affidavits. Mr. Galarza, do you need me to appoint counsel for you, or do you plan to hire a private attorney?
Appoint one.
Hey, are you employed?
Sí,
Yes.
Where do you work?
yo trabajo en construcción, en mecánico.
Well, I work in construction as a mechanic.
And is that a full-time job?
Sí, yo trabajo para mí mismo.
Yes, I'm self-employed.
And how much do you earn?
Depende porque yo trabajo por los clientes míos.
Well, it depends because it depends on my clients.
Can you give me approximately how much you make per week?
A la semana 500, 600.
Weekly, 500, 600.
Do you have any dependents?
Sí, mi esposo.
Yes, my wife.
You have one dependent?
Sí.
Yes.
All right, I will appoint the public defender to represent you. The bonds that were set on these affidavits will remain stayed. The charge of cocaine with intent to sell has a bond of $15,000. The possession of cocaine charge, $150. The possession of drug paraphernalia, $100. And the charge of no driver's license, $500. Best of luck to you, sir.
Your Honor, would the court consider reducing count one based on the court's finding that that he is indigent?
No.
Your Honor, would you be including the condition of no drugs or alcohol upon release if bond is posted?
Yes, no drugs or alcohol. It's fine. Tell me your name, please. Hold on, Mr. Interpreter, he's got to put the headphones on. Can you tell me your name, please, sir?
Manuel Vega Delgado.
Manuel Vega Delgado.
The case number on this, is it MM? MO, 19 MO 1132. All right, Mr. Interpreter, this is case number 19 MO 1132.
Perdón?
Mr. Vega, you have a charge of alcoholic beverages open container violation. I will release you ROR. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. I do find probable cause. I will take no action on 12 CF 272. Best of luck to you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Tell me your name, please, sir.
My name Wilson Rivera.
Wilson Rivera.
Mr. Interpreter, this is on case number 19 CT 4311. Mr. Rivera, you have a charge of no valid driver's license.
Sí.
You do find probable cause on the affidavit. Sir, do you plan to retain private counsel, or do you need me to appoint an attorney to represent you?
Yo pienso que yo no necesito abogado, yo me declaro culpable.
Well, I believe that I do not need an attorney. I will plead guilty.
Are you employed?
Yo hace 9 meses que salí del estado de Nueva York de la prisión de hace 21 años.
Well, I just got out of a New York State penitentiary 9 months ago after serving 21 years.
So you're not employed?
Trabajo, pero vendo mercancía, vendo ropa y perfumes.
I do work. I work selling clothing and perfumes.
Can you tell me approximately how much you make per week?
Hay 800 pesos, 700 pesos. Dólares y dólares.
Well, anywhere between 700, 800.
Per week?
Yes.
Okay. All right, well, you wouldn't qualify for the appointment of the public defender, so if you do decide that you need an attorney, you'll need to privately retain that attorney. I will leave the bond set at $500 per the charging affidavit. Best of luck to you, sir. I have a few more. Good for Spanish. All right, thank you, Mr. Interpreter. I believe that's it for interpreter cases.
You're welcome, Anna. Thank you.
Counsel,
morning,
can you
Judge.
tell me your name, please?
Thank you, Judge Strawbridge. Good morning. James Kelly on behalf of Junior Torres. And He's got two cases, Your Honor, 2019 CF 8303, and I believe the 2018 CF 14558 is on the docket as well.
Sir, can you state your name, please?
Junior Abraham Torres Figueroa.
Counsel, you indicated two case numbers,
Yeah,
but I only
yeah.
have one.
Yes,
I
Your
only
Honor.
have 19 CF 8303.
Yes, Your Honor. In the 8303 case, Your Honor, we'd be seeking a reasonable bond on that case.
Sorry, hold on, I have two people
okay.
talking to me once. On that, on the prior case, which is the 18 CF 14558. Okay. Is that the other case that you mentioned?
In the other case, Your Honor, that's one we were asking that case. Mr. Torres is out on bond on that case. We'd be seeking the state take no action. The court take no action in that case. I did speak with the state this morning, and they said they leave it in the court's discretion. I can give this court some background on that if the court would like, but however, in the 19 CF 8303,
I'm not interested in
Yes,
any
sir.
background on it.
Yes, Your Honor.
I will find probable cause on the face of the affidavit. Mr. Torres has private counsel, it won't be necessary. I will stay the bond at $2,500. I'll take no action on 18 CF 14558. Best of luck to you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. If I may be excused.
You may.
Mr. Torres would like to withdraw everything he filled out in affidavit of insolvency. He'd like to withdraw that. He'll be retaining me on that new case, Your Honor, as well.
I didn't appoint the public defender for him, so.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
Can you tell me your name, please, sir?
Jason Lee Jules Thomas.
All right, Mr. Thomas, I have charges for you of possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, possession of ammunition by a convicted felon, grand theft, third degree of a firearm, possession of methamphetamine, possession of heroin, possession of cocaine, possession of drug paraphernalia. I do find probable cause on all of those charges. There is a second affidavit for violation of a domestic violence injunction for protection. I do find probable cause on that affidavit as well. The bonds that were set on the original charges are $4,000 for the possession of firearm by a convicted felon, $150 for the possession of ammunition, $150 for the grand theft of the firearm, $150 for the possession of amphetamines, $150 for the possession of heroin, $150 for possession of cocaine, $150 for possession of drug paraphernalia. Those will all remain stayed. I will set bond on the violation of the domestic violence injunction at $1,000. The additional condition on the violation of the domestic violence injunction is no contact with the petitioner on the injunction. On the drug charges and the firearm charge, additional conditions will be no weapons or firearms, no drugs or alcohol. You do not qualify for the appointment of the public defender. So you will need to retain private counsel.
Your Honor, I don't, sorry, and Marie Taylor for the public defender. I actually have, I represent Mr. Thomas in his out on bond case. I'm wondering if there was perhaps an issue with filling out the affidavit of insolvency.
I have an affidavit filled out by him today that says he earns $600 per week and has no dependents.
I understand.
He's out on bond in another case. I don't have a sheet on that.
Is there any action on the out on bond, Your Honor?
I don't have a sheet on it. I didn't even know he was out on bond. Oh, you know what? It's because it's not yellow. I have a white sheet. All right, and it does appear that Mr. Thomas is out on bond on 18 CF 18109. That bond will be revoked. Best of luck to you, sir.
Public defender was not appointed, Your Honor, on that. Thank you.
He doesn't qualify based on the face of his affidavit. Tell me your name, please, sir.
Ron Hudson.
Mr. Hudson, we have a charge of battery domestic violence for you. I will appoint the public defender to represent you if find probable cause on the face of the affidavit. I will leave set bond at $500 with the additional condition of no contact with the victim. Best of luck to you, sir. Tell me your name, please, sir.
The state would also be requesting no weapons or firearms.
Hold on. Are there any weapons?
None were indicated in the affidavit, Your Honor.
No, just the no contact with the victim. I think that's already a condition of his injunction.
Thank you, Judge.
Tell me your name, please, sir.
Jesus Marquez Jr.
Mr. Marquez, we have a charge for you of trespass on property after warning. I do find probable cause. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. The bond will remain stayed in that case at $500. The additional condition of no return to the scene. Best of luck to you, sir.
Your Honor, he'd be requesting an offer from the court or the state.
State wish to make an offer?
State does not have an offer at this time based on the defendant's history, Your Honor.
Okay. Take it up next week. Tell me your name, please, sir.
Glenn Dobson.
All right, Mr. Dobson, you have a violation of probation charge. And that is in find the paper that I had. 18 CF 9019. I will appoint the public defender to represent you on this. That violation has no bond. Best of luck to you, sir. Tell me your name, please, sir.
Jeppe Wayne Finley, ma'am, Your Honor.
Mr. Finley, you have a charge of open container. I do find probable cause. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. I will release you ROR. Best of luck to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am, Your Honor. Thank you.
Tell me your name, please, sir. Your name?
Kareem Acevedo.
Mr. Acevedo, I have charge of battery dating violence. And additional charges of aggravated assault on a law enforcement officer with a motor vehicle and no valid driver's license. They're on 3 separate affidavits. I find probable cause on each of the 3 affidavits. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. As to the battery dating violence, I will set bond at $2,500. The aggravated assault on a law enforcement officer will be $5,000, and the no valid driver's license will be $500. Best of luck to you, sir. Oh, and no contact with the victim on the dating violence.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state would also be requesting no weapons or firearms.
I have no indication of weapons or firearms in this case.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Tell me your name, please.
Annie Mae Burton.
Ms. Burton, I have two charges, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and a battery touch or strike. I do find probable cause on the affidavit on those charges. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. The bonds will be $2,500 on the aggravated assault, $500 on the battery. No contact with the victim. Best of luck to you, ma'am.
Your Honor, the state would be requesting no alcohol or drugs in this case. It does appear
Oh,
that...
wait, I'm sorry, yes, no alcohol or drugs
Thank you.
as well. Did you hear that? Tell me your name, please, ma'am.
Trudy K. Gunpett.
Put your hands. Ms. Gambit, I have a charge of aggravated assault, domestic violence. I do find probable cause on the face of the affidavit. She does. Oh, she does. Oh, and I also have a second charge of first-degree arson. Is that totally? Ms. Gampet, are you able to afford a private attorney, or do you want me to consider the appointment of public defender for you?
I could afford one.
Okay, are you employed,
Yes, ma'am.
and where do you work?
DTP Communications,
And what do you earn from your employment?
$8,000 gross per month.
$8,000 per month?
Yes.
Okay, you will not qualify for the appointment of the public defender. You will need to retain private counsel. As to the arson charge, I will leave the bond set at $5,000. All right. Okay. Tell me your name, sir.
David Sims.
All right, Mr. Sims, is there anything you want to tell me?
There was no domestic violence. None.
Okay. Anything else?
They charging her with arson, but I don't consider it was arson.
Hey, I'm just the first appearance judge. You need to argue that to the judge that's assigned to the case.
Oh,
At
okay.
this point, I found probable cause on the face of the affidavit based upon what was reported by the police officer and by you at the scene.
But there was definitely no domestic violence whatsoever.
Okay. All right, with regard to the arson charge, the bond will remain at $5,000. As to the aggravated assault charge, the $2,500 bond will be set on that.
What's the aggravated assault for, though?
I'm sorry?
The aggravated assault, what was that for?
Hey, I can't get into what the charges are for. Sorry, I just took your statement relative to your concerns. I assume that you are asking that I not enter a no contact with the victim charge based upon your statements, is that correct?
No,
No, you want to have contact with her or you don't?
I do.
Okay. All right, ma'am, no weapons or firearms. No return to the scene. Best of luck to you, ma'am.
And Your Honor, is that a non-hostile contact order at the least?
All right, no hostile contact, that's fine.
Thank you, Judge.
Tell me your name, please. Happened to Canapooch. Mr. Fouch, Fooch.
Oh, Oscar,
Okay. Mr. Pierre, I have one charge of battery dating violence. I do find probable cause on the face of the affidavit. Do you want me to consider the appointment of the public defender for you, or are you planning to retain private counsel?
Your Honor, if I could approach, looks like you did fill out a form. I'm not sure why you don't.
I don't have it on several of them.
May I approach?
All right, I will appoint the public defender to represent you. I will set the bond on this charge at at $2,500. No contact with the victim, no weapons or firearms. Best of luck to you, sir. Tell me your name, please, ma'am.
Kayla Thomas.
All right, Ms. Thomas, I have one charge of battery dating violence. I do find probable cause on the face of the affidavit. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. You do qualify for pretrial release. I will authorize pretrial release with the condition of no contact with the victim, no weapons or firearms. Best of luck to you, ma'am.
Your Honor? Your Honor?
Yeah.
For her, with this particular person, it looks like, that they do share a residence. Can we do, bond or PTR if qualifies? Because, we have no alternative address for, and with our PTR, we have to have an alternative address in order for them to meet the criteria.
Okay, so, the bond would be 1,500 or PTR with an address,
Qualifies. Thank
with a
you.
qualifying address.
We'll talk to her.
All right. Tell me your name, please.
Thomas Scott Kerrigan.
And Mr. Kerrigan, I have a charge of possession of alprazolam, possession of cannabis less than 20 grams, and driving while license revoked as a habitual offender. I do find probable cause on the two affidavits. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. I will I'll leave the bond set as outlined in the first affidavit: possession of alprazolam, $1,000, possession of cannabis less than 20 grams, $100, and the driving with revoked license, $2,500. They will remain. However, bond is revoked in 19 CF 3783 and 19 MM 4497. Best of luck to you, sir.
Okay.
Tell me your name, please, sir.
Omar Dean.
Mr. Dean, I have a charge of petty theft with 2 prior convictions. I do find probable cause on the affidavit. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. I will lower the bond from $1,000 to $500. Best of luck to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Tell me your name, please, ma'am.
Teresa Felicello.
Ms. Felicello, I have 3 charges for you. Charge of conspiracy to commit credit card fraud, forgery of a credit card, and possession of counterfeit driver's license. I do find probable cause on the affidavit. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. I will leave the bonds as outlined in the affidavit. $200 on the conspiracy to commit credit card fraud, $2,000 on the forgery of the credit card, and $300 on the possession of the counterfeit driver's license, with the additional condition of no return to the scene. Best of luck to you, ma'am.
Okay. Thank
Tell me your name, please.
Sarah Keith.
All right, Ms. Keith, I have a charge of burglary of an unoccupied dwelling, battery on an officer, firefighter, or EMT, and resisting an officer, obstruction without violence. I do find probable cause on the face of the affidavits. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. I will stay the bonds, $5,000 on the burglary of the unoccupied dwelling, $150 on the battery on the officer, and $100 on the resisting officer without violence. Additional conditions, no return to the scene and no contact with the victim.
Your
Best
Honor,
of luck to you, ma'am.
I'm sorry. May I have a minute to talk with her before we move on?
Quickly. For who? On these?
Yes, if you need it for anyone.
Okay,
For anyone that has a driver's license. Sorry.
okay.
That or over here.
Thank you.
Tell me your name, please.
Theodas May.
All right, Mr. May, you have 2 warrants for violations of probation. As well as some new charges for driving while license suspended, possession of cocaine, and possession of heroin. I will stay the bonds on the new charges, $2,500 on the driving while license suspended with 2 prior convictions, $1,000 on the possession of cocaine, and $1,000 on the possession of heroin. The warrants have no bonds on them. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. I do find probable cause on the new charges. Best of luck to you, sir.
Your Honor, I have a brief probable cause challenge as to the Dwillis. The probable cause affidavit states that the officer determined, quote, through investigative means that the license was suspended. Mr. May's only statement was, "My license is good." The officer doesn't give any detail as to what was suspending the license, how he knew the license was suspended. And this statement this statement alone is not enough for probable cause.
And the fact that he has 2 outstanding warrants for the same thing?
That doesn't. Your Honor, I understand that further down the road that could perhaps change, but based on the 4 corners of the affidavit, my position is that it's just not there.
State one time to amend the affidavit.
Yes, Your Honor, if the state could have a 24-hour reset.
All right, 24-hour reset.
I understand, and I would just place an objection on the record to the 24-hour reset because the state hasn't alleged extraordinary circumstances required for
So
that
noted.
reset.
Tell me your name.
Michael Roberts.
Mr. Robertson, you had a warrant issued out of Orange County in 18 CF 3930 on a failure to appear. There is specifically no bond on that warrant until you are brought before Division 22. Public defender already appointed in this case? Okay. All right, best of luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
I rebel with you, John.
Okay.
Rebel.
Tell me your name, please.
Malik Space Clark.
All right, Mr. Space Clark, you have a warrant arrest for robbery with subsequent force, grand theft third degree, and battery. I do find, the probable cause was found on the warrant. I do appoint the public defender to represent you. I will set bond on the robbery charge at $5,000, on the grand theft at $500, and on the battery charge at $500, with the additional condition of no contact with the victim, no weapons or firearms. Best of luck to you, sir. Tell me your name, please.
Nicholas Wachek.
All right, Mr. Wachek, I have charge of criminal mischief greater than $1,000, resisting an officer without violence, and trespass on property after warning, as well as a second affidavit with a charge of sanitary nuisance. I do find probable cause on the face of both of those affidavits. Based upon the application you submitted, you do not qualify for the appointment of the public defender. We will need to retain private counsel if you want to be represented. The bonds that were established in the affidavits, I will leave stayed. That is $1,000 on the criminal mischief, $100 on the resisting the officer, $100 on the trespass, and $250 on the sanitary nuisance, with the condition of no return to the scene. Best of luck to you, sir.
Your Honor, any action on the out on bond? Criminal
Oh,
mischief court case 2019 CF 007847 AO.
That bond will be revoked. Tell me your name, please, sir.
Willie James Witherspoon.
Mr. Witherspoon, I have one charge of possession of MDMA. Do find probable cause on the affidavit. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. The bond will remain at $1,000 with the additional condition of no drugs or alcohol. Best of luck to you, sir.
Your Honor, would the court consider ROR in this case, based on the nature of the offense being a simple possession and Mr. Witherspoon's inability to pay monetary bond?
Not on this history. Tell me your name, please.
Your Honor, is a condition of release, no drugs or alcohol in this case as well?
Yes.
Sorry, what was that?
There's a condition of no drugs or alcohol on it. I said that before he left.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Your name, please, ma'am.
Demetria West.
Ms. West, I have a charge of driving while license suspended with 2 prior convictions. I do find probable cause on the affidavit. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. You do qualify for pretrial release. I will authorize the pretrial release. Best of luck to you, ma'am. And the last one here is Ronald Yant. He bonded.
He's not on our document.
Sorry? 19017469. Okay, that's the bottom of that pile. All right, so we've done everyone that was in here, right? Okay. All right, folks, I need about 45 minutes to go through the rest of the affidavits. And I will be back. I'm gonna finish signing these orders for you, however. I don't have to lock them down. All right, there's your orders. I will be back.
Your Honor?
Yeah, roughly 1:30. I'll be quick. Thankfully, I got to take something for this headache, because I was like going down fast on that. So it's getting better. This weather is long. It's good. It's like going constant. There's a whole lot of them uncommon, so that saves a lot of time. No, no, I didn't have to read those. Well, when they, well, I guess what would be a good compromise on that would be to just get the postages and tell the duty judge, don't take them out of order, just put the note on it so you don't have to read it. Yeah. I didn't stop to think about that.
It's okay. Mr. Wilson, it's not your honor, it's gonna be the side. Oh, here, look. Come on, Ms. Forbes. Come on, Forbes.
You tell me your name, please, ma'am.
Jessica Bowles.
Ms. Bowles, you were picked up on a warrant for failure to appear. That is in 18 MM 8751. That warrant does have a $2,000 bond on it. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Best of luck, ma'am. Your name, please, sir?
Duarte Forbes.
Mr. Forbes, you were picked up on a charge of no valid driver's license. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. I do find probable cause. I will release you on your own recognizance. Best of luck to you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're good to go. Tell me your name, please, sir.
Melvin Gerard Duval.
Mr. Duval, you have a charge of trespass after warning. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. I do find probable cause. I will release you ROR with a condition of no return to the scene. Best of luck to you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir,
Thank you,
can
Your Honor.
Thank you.
Can you tell me your name, please?
Craig Hayner, Jr.
That Thomas Goodwin is mental health, Your Honor.
It's Goodwin, mental health. Mr. Hayner, I have charges of battery, criminal mischief, petty theft, I will appoint the public defender to represent you. I find probable cause on the face of the affidavit. I will leave the bonds as set at 1,200 and 200, 1,000 on the battery, 200 on the criminal mischief, 200 on the petty theft. Additional conditions will be no contact with the victim and no return to the scene. Best of luck to you, sir. Tell me your name, please, ma'am.
Camille Jackson.
Ms. Jackson, you have a charge of trespass on property after warning. I do find probable cause on the face of the affidavit. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. You do qualify for pretrial release, and I will authorize pretrial release, the condition of no return to the scene and no contact with the victim. Best of luck to you, ma'am. Sir, tell me your name, please.
Joaquin Jean.
Mr. Jean, you have a charge of petty theft. I do find probable cause on the face of the affidavit. I do also find that you don't qualify for the appointment of the public defender, so if you want to have counsel, you'll have to retain your own counsel. The bond on the petty theft is at $250, and it will remain at $250. However, this charge results in a revocation of the bond on 19 CF 6314. Best of luck to you, sir.
I don't know who it is. Oh, I'm sorry. You're all
Sir, your name, please.
LaPont.
LaPont?
Refused, Your Honor.
Refused?
Yes. Thank you.
Tell me your name, please, sir.
Isaiah Ozias.
Mr. Ozias, you have a charge of petty theft. I do find probable cause on the face of the affidavit. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. I will stay the bond at $250. I will take no action on 19 MM 28. However, I will revoke the bond on 19 CF 7728. Best of luck to you, sir. Tell me your name, please, sir.
Joshua Scott.
Mr. Scott, you have a charge of petty theft.
Yes,
I don't
ma'am.
have any paperwork relative to appointment of counsel. Are you asking me to appoint the public defender, or do you plan to hire a private attorney?
I don't know, to be honest. I feel like, no, because they said, like,
Just answer the question.
Do you want me to consider the appointment of the public defender to represent you?
what is that?
Can you afford to get your own lawyer? All right.
Are you employed? Do you have any source of income?
Not right now, no.
All right, then I will appoint the public defender to represent you. If you wind up getting private counsel, you can deal with that later.
Okay.
The bond on this is $250. I will leave that set at $250, and you're with the additional condition of no return to the scene. Best of luck to you, sir.
Your Honor, could we do PTR if he qualifies for a
I
bond?
don't think he qualifies. Doesn't qualify.
Corrections have why that would be.
Refused to provide emergency contact and couldn't verify his community ties. This is Joshua Scott.
And I have no problem with doing PTR, but he has to qualify for it. So I'll leave it as bond or PTR if he wants to provide that information.
All right,
Bond or
Okay.
PTR qualifies.
thank you.
Okay. Tell me your name, please, sir.
Justin Sheffield.
Mr. Sheffield, we have a charge of resisting an officer without violence and camping in a prohibited area. Find probable cause, I will appoint the public defender to represent you. I will release you ROR. No return to the scene.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Camille Schiffer is mental health.
What happened to Tyler Ozlizlo? Ozlizzo? Also mental health?
Mental health as well.
Okay. There's two. These are both. Tell me your name, please, sir.
Rodrigo Gordiano.
Mr. Gordiano, you have a warrant out of Brevard County. That warrant does have a bond on it in the amount of $3,000. There is an Orange County case, 18 CF 18007. I'll take no action on the Orange County case. Tell me your name, please, sir.
Roger Jackson.
Mr. Jackson, you have several warrants out of Brevard County. Those warrants have no bond on them. They will be picking you up. Best of luck to you, sir. Sir, can you tell me your name, please?
Edward William Paris Jr. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Mr. Parrish, you have warrants out of Miami. Those warrants have no bond on them. They will be picking you up. Best of luck to you, sir. Your name, please, sir?
Joseph Roy.
Mr. Roy, you have warrant out of Pinellas County.
Yes.
That warrant has a bond on it of $3,013. Not sure where the 13 comes from, but that's the bond.
Sorry, Your Honor. Mr. Jackson was just here. He had reporting instructions. He's a high-risk sex offender. Matter of Mr. Jackson. He was the one right before this gentleman.
Okay.
He had reporting instructions.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. All right, back to Mr. Roy. Your bond is $3,013, and it has additional conditions of no contact with Gene Roy, no firearms or ammunition.
Yes.
Best of luck to you, sir.
Azula refused, Your Honor. And Charlene Bunyan refused, Your Honor.
Okay. Tell me your name, please, sir.
James Greeny.
Do you want your hands down?
Mr. Greeny, you have a warrant for failure to appear. That warrant has a bond on it of $2,000. There is also a bond in 19 mm, or the ROR on 19 mm 2427. I'll take no action on that.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Best of luck to you, sir.
In the trial court. I'll let them know you're here.
Ma'am, can you tell me your name, please?
Desiree Jones.
Ms. Jones, you have charges of possession of heroin, possession of methamphetamine, possession of paraphernalia. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. I do find probable cause on the affidavit. I will stay the bonds at $1,000 on the possession of heroin, $150 on the possession of meth, and $100 on the paraphernalia. Additional condition will be no drugs or alcohol. Best of luck to you, ma'am.
Your Honor, Ms. Jones is requesting that the court consider ROR based on the nature of the simple possession charge, and she's willing to put on the record that she has community ties and an address to go to.
You'll have to take that up with the judge that's assigned to the case. It's an extensive history on this case.
Andrew Kosher, Your Honor's mental health.
Tell me your name, please, sir.
Lee Ingles.
Michael Kirkland is medical, Your Honor, 24 hours after he gets out of medical. And Hugo Pinella is refused, Your Honor.
Mr. Angles, you have a charge for open container. I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. I'll release you ROR. Best of luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
Tell me your name, please, sir.
Kevin Skeeto, ma'am.
Mr. Skitos, you have a charge of open container. I find probable cause on the face of the affidavit. I'll appoint the public defender. I'll release you ROR. Best of luck to you, sir.
You're all set.
What happened?
You'll be released.
Oh, okay.
Sir, your name, please.
Peter Verdugo.
Mr. Verdugo, you have a charge of soliciting without a permit. Do you find probable cause? Appoint the public defender. Release you ROR. Best of luck, sir.
Yep.
And that's it. All right. Thank you, folks. I'll see you in
Thank you.
65 weeks.
Thank you, Judge.
But who's counting?
Me.